I laugh every single time I see anything about like the male loneliness epidemic because every woman I know is like the most beautiful, considerate, thoughtful, lovely person and is trying to find love. And then every man I encounter is fumbling the baddest bitch on the planet because of their own ego or own self issues.
Yeah, here's the thing. Men are not fumbling you because of our ego or self issues. Men just don't want to date you. I love how these women are so damn entitled, guys, that they can't understand that maybe men don't want to date them because we don't want to. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. And on today's episode, I have some very entitled videos for you here today from none other than modern women, excuse me. So we're going to be jumping into this clip right here first, and then we will return to the one that I played during the intro. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's jump right into it.
I have to rant about men. So if you don't want to hear me rant about men, then keep scrolling. This does not apply to any one person, and obviously I'm in a very public relationship, and so this does not necessarily apply to me or my relationship, but I've been talking to my friends all day, actually even family over the weekend, about just the holiday season and how frustrating it is to be the person who handles the mental burden.
Okay, first of all, mental burden is not real. You have these entitled women who like to make up words so it seems like they're actually doing something and that they're somehow oppressed in their own relationships. That's first of all. Second of all, guys, I love how these women, man, they come on TikTok and they start trash talking men in their own words, by the way, going on a rant about men. Meanwhile, they're in a public relationship and they are actively talking about their own relationships. It might surprise modern women to know, but dudes actually don't like this, and it's honestly very disrespectful. Can you guys imagine a dude came on the internet and he's like, yeah, man, let me just go on a rant about women. Now, obviously, I have a very public relationship with a woman, but you know what? I just hate having to pay all of the bills and they never put in any effort. It's like, what? It's like that dude would be absolutely crucified in 2 seconds, man. I don't understand why these people love to make their relationship details public, complain about their man, and then insist that they're not complaining about their man. It's so stupid. If you have something to discuss, maybe you should actually take it up with your significant other rather than throw around vague words on the internet and on TikTok.
Actually, even family over the weekend, about just the holiday season and how frustrating it is to be the person who handles the mental burden in a relationship, even outside of the holiday season, but I think a lot of women feel it during the holiday season.
Yeah, so we have women over here taking the mental burden in relationships, guys, but of course we don't talk about, I don't know, the financial burden, right? Or things that are actually tangible, that are real, you know, that doesn't constitute vague language. Just so weird to me, guys, how modern women, they just make up crap on TikTok to complain about a lot of the time. Now, I say this on every video because the all police like to come to my channel. Taylor's saying all women are like this. No, I'm not saying all women are this damn crazy. I'm just highlighting the crazy ones on TikTok. And also, I will say though, there are a lot of modern women who do believe in this nonsense. Yeah, I do all the mental labor. Okay, how about the actual labor? Can we talk about that for a second? Probably not, right?
In a relationship, even outside of the holiday season, but I think a lot of women feel it during the holiday season. For instance, my mom went shopping for gifts, and my dad was like, now I have to figure out the dinner plan. And I'm like, do you not eat? I'm sorry, what? And also, she's going gift shopping, so you don't have to. So
I mean, she's probably spending his money. Like, we're not going to talk about that, for example. The money that the dude probably worked hard for, she's going out and spending it on gifts. By the way, holiday seasons are a complete scam, man. Like, I absolutely, don't get me wrong, I'm not against the holiday spirit and Christmas and things like this, but I do think it is absolutely a retail scam where you know, modern women they are spending way above and beyond what needs to be spent. And it's just an excuse. And women just bite so hard on advertisement, man. As far as I know, consumer debt, a lot of it is taken on, at least the majority of it is by women. That's why most marketing efforts are targeted towards women. because they go out here and they spend a whole bunch of money on things that aren't even necessary. I said this recently in a video, guys, but you can get, like, some woman was complaining about a gift and it not being expensive enough, and the dude asking for a discount in like a boutique store or something. And I'm like, man, dudes will go out here. They will literally be given socks on Father's Day and they will still be happy, man. Nothing wrong with some socks, but these women, it's like, no, they've got like they've got their 1,000 list of different gifts that they have to get for some distant relative, like with his money, by the way. All right.
You not eat? I'm sorry, what? And also, she's going gift shopping so you don't have to, so I'm confused. And it's like, if you're going to a party, I feel like most of the times it's on the woman to buy the gift. And it's also on the woman to wrap it.
Oh no, guys, women, they have the mental burden of buying crap and wrapping it. Number one, nobody's forcing you to buy and wrap things. Number two, whose money are you spending? Because usually it's the dude's money. Oh, guys, it's just so hard to spend a man's money, you know? Like, shut up. That's like a dude, and he's like, man, let's just say the woman cooks a meal every night, and he's like, you know what? I'm so sick of having to like set the table, and then like when I eat the food, I'm full, you know? Yeah. Like, you're doing the easiest part, man. I had a woman actually recently on one of these videos, I kid you not, she was complaining about the mental load of having to figure out when they were running out of toothpaste and having to buy toothpaste. And like, you just cannot keep these women happy, can you? But the mental load of buying gifts, it's just too damn high. This is why dudes don't want to marry you, by the way. Oh, we've been together for 6 years and he doesn't want to marry me. Yeah, no crap, he doesn't want to marry you because you believe in things like the mental load, and getting gifts is a giant pain in the ass for you. Maybe if you thought ahead, by the way, so many of these women don't think ahead for gift getting or anything like that. They do it on the most busy possible time they possibly could. How is this my problem? I simply do not care. And by the way, a lot of these gifts that they're getting, just for other women. Most dudes, like, yeah, they'll appreciate a gift, but we don't require material things in order to be, like, we don't require women to have to go out there and get us things, you know? A lot of guys, man, are really content with just being around a peaceful woman. You don't have to get him a whole bunch of gifts or anything. And I think a lot of guys truly are this way. They don't mind receiving socks for Christmas, even though a lot of women would consider that an insult. They're just glad that they were thought about, you know?
Because it literally does not come across a guy's mind that they should do it. And I just feel like women don't need men the way that they used to when like the world required a man to make the whole income, and like it's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Okay, so go out there and buy your own crap then. Pay your own bills then. Not my problem. You see, women, they love to say stuff like this. I don't need no man. You know, I can do everything myself. But the problem is when reality starts to happen. Okay, when the bills get a little bit too high and no guy is paying your income for you, paying your rent for you, for example, or the man's not pitching in on the mortgage this week because he doesn't feel like paying 80 or 100% of it. Imagine if dudes stopped doing their traditional obligations in these long-term relationships and marriages and so on, simply because we felt like we were doing too much mental labor. These relationships, these marriages would completely dissipate, man. You know what? I don't feel like paying the rent, you know, this week because I don't really need a woman, and I think I'm just taking on too much of the mental load. All of the relationships would instantly dissipate. You don't need no man? Okay, stop accepting resources from them. We'll see how long that lasts. I have quite literally seen single mothers, by the way, who are accepting child support from the man, and oftentimes alimony too sometimes, talking about how they don't need no man. And yet their entire lifestyle is essentially subsidized by the men financially. Like, shut the hell up. If this woman's spending 100% of her money, you know, she's not relying on this dude for rent or any sort of provisioning, fine. But a lot of them do. And even if they aren't in the current moment, they expect that day to come. Let's continue.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to. And so, like, now we're in a point where I'm like, you really have to prove that this is worth my time and worth my energy. And if I have to choose between reminding you of things that like you as a fully grown, fully capable adult should be able to just figure out, if I have to choose between reminding you of those things or potentially risking having like a shitty day because now I thought you might do it and you didn't, and so now I have to do it and pick up the slack, and like it's like, and it's this is an experience that I feel like all women share.
Okay, so I'll make you a deal. You stop doing the mental labor and men stop doing the actual labor, and then we'll see how things go. So you stop using his money to buy gifts and things like this and wrapping them because it's too difficult for you. The mental load is too high. And then the man will withdraw his financial support from you. And we'll see how this goes. Because I love this argument that modern women make. Oh, we don't need no man. I can do everything myself. And then dudes sit there, and you know what the dudes do? They go, okay, not a problem. And they just bounce. And then the women's lives are just completely in shambles. Right? Again, women, there was this thing a while ago where women were out here choosing the bear. Go get the bear to pay your bills. Go get the bear to pay for your gifts. Not my problem. It's so crazy, man. Oh, I'm just gonna stop doing the mental labor. Okay, not a problem. I can't remember, actually. That reminds me of a situation that happened recently. It was I can't remember what country this was. It was some small country somewhere. But a significant portion of the population, which was pretty much exclusively women, went on strike for like workers' rights or something like this, or wanting to be paid more. And then the economy during that day didn't change a single bit at all. Like everything just ran so smoothly. This kind of reminds me of a similar situation. Oh, I'm not going to go out there and do the mental labor anymore. Okay, goodbye. Like, please stop doing the mental labor. I want to see how this plays out, man. And again, if the dude were to stop doing the actual labor, oh boy, she'd be out of there, man. But don't worry, she don't need no man. Yeah, okay.
And this is an experience that I feel like all women share, and it is so frustrating. And I have to reiterate that this is not about me and my relationship.
Does anybody believe that, man? Anybody? Can I get a raise of hands in the comments who believes that? Here's the thing, okay? Let's just assume what this woman is saying is just the truth, right? Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's not about your relationship. Is this not still just a really disrespectful thing to do, knowing that you're in a public relationship? You know, like you're essentially just indirectly talking trash about your significant other, whether or not you claim it to be true or not. You don't need to get on the internet and go on about the mental labor and about choosing between you and somebody else. Like, this is obviously a discussion that you two need to be having. Even if you insist that it's not him, I still think it's incredibly disrespectful to be in a public relationship and then still be making these sorts of comments that are pretty much obviously a direct reference to your relationship.
I'm actually very lucky in mine that, like, you know, my boyfriend was raised around a lot of women, and so there's lots of things that he does that I don't have to remind him about. But
right, so he's a simp, and he does things that, you know, he does all of the right things. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out, guys, because men who do all of the right things, who are raised by a bunch of women, you know what typically happens to these men? They get cheated on. They get used. You know, you think their relationships are going well. Oh, he's been in a 3-year relationship. Things are going fantastically for him. Yeah, okay, we'll keep tabs on that, shall we? Because a lot of the time, these dudes are completely mistreated by women because they don't actually understand the negative behaviors that they can do. Like getting on TikTok and ranting about mental labor and trashing your relationship, for example. Because he's going to watch this and he's going to be like, oh, that man being raised by women is going to naively sit there and think, oh, this is fine. This isn't disrespectful. She's not talking about me, even though none of those things are true.
You know, like, it just feels like we're doing 3/4 of the work, and I don't want to praise you for doing the 25. I don't want to. You're just being normal. You're just meeting me 1/4 of the way. 1/4. I've been thinking about this like for like a week, and like these examples keep coming up because it's the holidays. I'm just so frustrated. Anyway.
Right, so she's just, guys, she's just thinking about it because it's the holidays. Don't worry, it has nothing to do with her relationship whatsoever, though. Ridiculous, man. Completely ridiculous. So if you're not thinking about your current relationship, does that mean you're thinking about previous ones or just hypothetical ones? It boggles the mind, gentlemen. It truly boggles the mind. But speaking of boggling the mind, this clip from the intro is so damn stupid. It actually makes me gag. Let's jump. We're just going to take a couple of deep breaths before we jump into this one, and we will take a listen to what this very sane individual has to tell us.
I laugh every single time I see anything about like the male loneliness epidemic because every woman I know is like the most beautiful, considerate, thoughtful, lovely person and is trying to find love.
Really, every single woman you know, you cannot think of a single woman who is not the most. Wait, so this doesn't even make sense. The most beautiful, considerate person. But how can every woman be the most beautiful and considerate? It doesn't make any sense, man. Yeah, every woman, the most beautiful, considerate, what else was here? Blah, 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 thoughtful, lovely person and is trying to find love. But of course, guys, the men, these awful, awful men, they're not thoughtful, they're not loving, they're not trying to find love, they're not beautiful, they're just scum. And we'll get into her particular situation where Chad didn't want to go on a date with her.
Lovely person and is trying to find love, and then every man I encounter is fumbling the baddest bitch on the planet because of their own ego or own self issues.
This is one of the most crazy mindsets, by the way, that I see modern women have. Is if a man, okay, check this out. If a man doesn't want to take her seriously or date her, then apparently we are fumbling them. The baddest bee, by the way, on the planet, and we're doing this because we have ego and self issues. Isn't that great? Imagine if a dude made a video and he was like, you know what, this woman, she doesn't want to have intimacy with me, then obviously it's her ego that's in the way. It's her own self issues. Holy hell. Imagine, guys, imagine if dudes were making videos like this and we flipped it around the other way.
Bitch on the planet because of their own ego or own self issues. I was supposed to go on a first date a week ago. This was with somebody that I had met in real life through a friend. We got along super well.
Yeah, so what she's trying to do here is she's trying to qualify, by the way, that this wasn't just from a dating application, because again, what she's trying to do is she's trying to paint herself as somebody who's pure. Don't worry, we didn't meet on a dating application. We met through a mutual friend, you know, like back in the day. Everything's normal, nothing weird to see here. The signs, they have already spoken to me, gentlemen. I already know this is complete nonsense.
Oh, this was with somebody that I had met in real life through a friend. We got along super well. Honestly, he was doing everything right leading up to the date. He was like calling me and texting me and being really sweet, and even like texting our mutual friend and being like, oh, like, what does Tanya like? And he was doing great.
Notice all these metrics, by the way. So this is why you don't listen to women in regards to dating advice, by the way, is because their definition of doing things great leading up to a date, for example, is calling and texting and doing all of this stuff. So yeah, calling, texting me, being really sweet. Here's the thing about calling, texting, being really sweet. You only get away with this if you're quite attractive to the woman. You see what I'm saying? The average guy, you try calling and texting and being really sweet to the average woman before the first date. A lot of women say that they want this, but in truth, they just get absolutely creeped out by this behavior. They think you're the weirdest dude ever. This is just, you know, guys, you don't believe me. If you don't want to believe me, you just want to say, oh, you know, Taylor, you're just some animated vampire. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. Go out there and try this behavior that women tell you to do and get back to me. We'll see how it goes. And I believe in the situations where it does work, it's kind of like you're succeeding in spite of anyway. You know, like the woman would have liked you more had you not been calling and texting her and being really sweet and texting her best friend and asking about all of this gifts and everything like this. A lot of women will treat you like you're very damn weird if you start doing this stuff. It only works, again, if you're really quite attractive to that woman, at least.
And even like texting our mutual friend and being like, oh, like, what does Tanya like? And he was doing great. However, we were supposed to go out Saturday during the day. On Friday night, we were on the phone, just chatting, and he asked me to send him my location. And I said, no. I was like, you don't need to know my address. We've only met once. Like, I don't know you like that. I told you my neighborhood. If you're trying to figure out how far you are from me, that's all you really need to know. And when I said that, he was like, oh, why? Do you think I'm going to abduct and kidnap you? And I was like, no, but I don't know you. I'm not sending you my address. And then I decided to let it slide because sometimes people just say dumb things and they don't think about it. I didn't genuinely get a feeling of unsafety or danger.
Yeah, so the reason why she didn't get a feeling of unsafety or danger, again, you guessed it, gentlemen, is because she was attracted to the guy. If this man was not very attractive, number one, she wouldn't be having a long phone call with him probably anyway, unless she was just using him for free attention. But the reason why she doesn't feel unsafe or in a dangerous situation is because, again, probably the dude was attractive to her. That's really, and this is all, by the way, this is all assuming that her story is true here about what actually happens. Half the time, these stories aren't true. And what really ended up happening was the man rejected her, and so she has to make up these situations. A lot of these videos, guys, whenever women say crap like this, it's like, you know, you can just assume that it's true if you want, but a lot of the time they're just straight up lying. You know, and here's the thing, even if they're lying about their situation and you take it as truth, it's still stupid as hell. It still makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Let's keep going.
But then the next day, like 30 minutes before we're supposed to meet, we were supposed to go to this market thing together and then maybe like go to a park to play chess. And he was like, hey, like, let's skip the market. And then he had planned out like this whole day. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great, but I do really want to go to the market as well. So like maybe we can do both. To which his response was, Tanya, you're making it really hard to abduct and kidnap you. How are you making this statement twice? It wasn't funny the first time you did it. It's still not funny the second time you did it. So when he said that to me, I was like, hey, you might not want to make comments like that to a woman that you barely know. And he was like, oh, my sense of humor is just like dark and offensive. If that's a deal breaker for you, let me know. And I was like, no, dark and offensive humor I'm fine with. My therapist literally told me that I have the darkest sense of humor of anyone she's ever met.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this woman's a pain in the ass. The dude probably rejected her, and so we have to make up this backwards story about how the dude was making her uncomfortable. That's really what probably happened here, man. Therapist, right? Yeah, therapist. The dude was clearly joking, by the way, but of course you see, the thing is, when women do crap like this and they make an issue, by the way, out of a joke, the dudes just go, oh, she doesn't really like me. You know, this is like referred to as S testing, right? You probably heard that phrase. I have to keep it real PG over here on YouTube, really on thin ice. But you know, women who make issues like this, whenever dudes just encounter issues with you before they even go on the first date with you, it just puts men off, man. You start like making issues about things that they say or trying to conduct their speech on how they speak with women. A lot of guys, particularly if they have options, they're just going to bounce. They're just going to think that you're too much of a hassle and you're not actually interested in them.
But I was like, jokes are generally funny. And then instead of apologizing at this point, he just doubled down and he said, TBH, I don't really appreciate being told how to socialize. Motherfucker, what?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You're trying to teach this guy. You're trying to be like, hey, you don't talk to women like that. This joke, it wasn't funny when you made it the first time. Okay, peace. I'm out of here. You know, dudes are not interested. If they're starting to get the idea that you're a pain in the ass and you're going to try and tell them how they can and can't conduct their jokes before they've even met you, of course they're going to bounce. So this woman, what really happened here is she's super pissed because this guy was like, nah, I can already tell she's too much of a headache. That's really what happened here. But yeah, guys, we're the ones fumbling because of our ego issues.
They're generally funny. And then instead of apologizing at this point, he just doubled down and he said, TBH, I don't really appreciate being told how to socialize. Motherfucker, what? First of all, I didn't tell you how to socialize. all I said was, jokes are generally funny.
Wait, didn't 2 seconds ago she was like maybe lecturing him on how to communicate or something? I don't know, maybe I misinterpreted, but I'm probably being gaslit here by this woman, because I swear 2 seconds ago she was like making a comment on how to communicate or something like that. Like, this is why the dudes don't want to deal with you, is because they make a joke and then you just turn it into an issue and you try and police how they talk within the first 2 seconds. Like, you don't even know this dude and you're trying to tell him how to communicate. Yeah, I like, guys, imagine, right? Here's what goes through the dude's head. Imagine this woman after a month of dating her. No, absolutely not, because these sorts of little behaviors that are just annoying, they just get worse over time. You think that a woman who's criticizing how you speak to her before you've even met her is going to be pleasant if you date her? No, it's going to get worse. And then imagine if you marry the woman. Oh, hell no. So dudes, even if they're only looking for a hookup, what they'll do is they'll just say, nah, I don't think she's even interested in me anyway. And they'll just move on to the next one because they don't care. And you, by the way, you thought that this man was attractive. So obviously he's going to be able to go out there and get other women. And so she's pissed about it.
Second of all, it sounds like you do need someone to tell you how to socialize because, oh my god, what is wrong with you? And then I was like, hey, I don't really appreciate being told that I'm going to get abducted and kidnapped by someone I'm about to go on a date with, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, again, she's acting like she canceled this. The dude probably canceled it, or she was just so upset that she canceled it. Yeah, the men are just fumbling. We're out here fumbling. And I thought you understood that it was a joke. But look, see, I don't really... How passive-aggressive is this crap, by the way? I don't really appreciate being told that I'm going to get abducted and kidnapped by somebody that I'm about to go on a date with. The dude was clearly probably joking, you know? But they just like to make issues out of things, guys, you know?
I'm about to go on a date with, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this. And I did. And all of this is to say, if you see anything about the male loneliness epidemic and you're a male and you're wondering why, just know it is of your own doing.
Okay, so we wrap up this story by blaming all men. So apparently you watching this right now, sir, if you're watching this from home, you're probably a dude. There's like 3.5 women who watch this channel. But this woman's situation is apparently your fault, by the way. And if you're a man and you're by yourself, then that's just 100% your fault. Nothing. I can't take these women seriously, guys. Absolutely terrible. We're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves, excuse me, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.